Do you guys want to know how much I made last month, November 2024, with 3 books out? Hi, my name's Lindsay Elizabeth, and I am a self-published author, and I like to come online pretty much every single month to tell you guys how much I make as an indie self-published author. And as of November, it's the first month that I get to say I have 3 books out, because the 3rd book in my series, Kingdom of Ice and Nightmares, just came out at the end of November on the 21st, 22nd, depending on which version you look at on Amazon. But I have been making income videos like this since April or May of this year, so I'll link my income transparency playlist so that you can get the full rundown of the deets and also last year's total income, if that's something you're interested in checking out. My goal for these videos is never to brag or ask for pity depending on how much I do or don't make compared to other indie authors. It is simply for transparency reasons. Because when I started self-publishing in January of last year in 2023, I literally had no idea if I would make $5, $100, $1,000. I didn't know if I would sell 100 books at all. So it's just really to bring transparency and show the entire journey, the ups and the downs. And there have been some downs, but there have also been some amazing ups. So I like to share the whole thing. In these kind of breakdown videos, I like to usually talk about my books, but I'm kind of going to skip past those because I feel like I've done that a lot lately. And then I go through my income numbers, and then I also share some marketing insights and what I think led to sales or didn't. So if you're a fellow indie author and you want to know about my marketing strategy and things that I'm just kind of keeping tabs on throughout the months, make sure to watch to the end of these videos. So let's get into it. For context, I write kind of epic fantasy, it's got romance, it's got political intrigue, it's got some spice in it. If that's up your alley, you could check them out down below. And if you're interested in hearing longer versions of what they're about, I'm thinking about making a video catered to each book, going through what the plot is, maybe reading some favorite quotes. And I think that could be a lot of fun, so let me know if that's something that you're interested in hearing about down in the comments, and also it'll just give you some more context about quality of my work, maybe. So I have 3 books out. The 4th book will be coming out next year in 2025, hopefully at some point in the summer. We'll see. I'm cranking it out, so I'm hopeful. Also, first things first, there's kind of a lot of disclaimers when you talk about self-publishing because everybody's journey is so different. I self-publish only through Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing, KDP, and through their Kindle Unlimited program. So the way that that works for getting paid is I get paid for orders, whether it's a physical copy or an ebook copy, and then I also get paid per page read, depending on, how many pages are read that month. So I have the stats over here, and last month in November, I had a total of 18,765 page reads. And as usual, the majority of those were for the first book, Kingdom of Ash and Shadow, and that had 18,144 on its own, so the rest were actually for the 2nd book. So I didn't get any page reads for the 3rd book, which, like I said, it just came out on the 22nd, so I wouldn't really expect a ton of page reads unless people were really keeping up with the series in Kindle. And then as far as orders, I had a total of 13, which is pretty good for me for considering the last few months, which if you're not familiar, it was a rough few months, and I'll post that video here. But it looks like a total of 7 of those orders were for the 1st book, 3 for the 2nd book, and 3 for the 3rd book. So there were no page reads for the 3rd book, but I did get 3 orders. And I know for a fact that one of those orders was my dad. So we love a supportive dad. So last month's total royalties came out to $127.27. And now I'm going to break that down between the orders and the Kindle Unlimited page reads. The royalties for the orders themselves ended up being $44.96, which if you're like me and you don't want to do the math on what the remaining amount is, it's ended up being $82.31 that came from Kindle Unlimited. So I made about twice as much in Kindle Unlimited than I did by just getting orders placed. And now we're at the section that I can talk about some marketing and things that I did that I think led to some better sales than I've had recently. I would say that the first thing is, and I speculated this in earlier videos, is that election season leading up to the election kind of caused a really big slowdown. Now that that's over, I think people are getting back into the normal swing of things, reading, looking at social media, still existential crisising about the state of our country, but hopefully, I don't even know. And which kind of leads me to a next big point of marketing, and that is the fact that TikTok is one of my main, if not my main, source of marketing and where I post the most videos and see the most return on investment. I did post a video, I'll link it, about everything that I do and don't do to market, and I think I mentioned TikTok for a little while in there. But if you haven't been keeping up with the TikTok USA drama of will it get banned, won't it get banned, will they, won't they, a little tension, a little pining, if you will. The US passed a law to essentially ban TikTok if TikTok didn't sell enough shares to a US subsidiary. And essentially, TikTok is trying to appeal to the Supreme Court in order to not get banned. So it's kind of a will they, won't they, and it might or might not happen in January. If the Supreme Court listens to the appeal, it might get pushed back to like March, but it's interesting. I don't know how I feel about it completely. I did post a little vlog video about like, I do know a little bit how I feel about it, but you can just watch that video about how I feel about it. We won't get into it. Let's talk about what I did on TikTok in order to make some sales. I actually wrote this down because it was one of the first upticks that I really saw in my sales, and that is on November 14th. I had a TikTok about my books get over 15,000 views. So I want to show you the sales data leading up to that 15th, and then I'll just like mark where the 15th is wherever I show this graph here. So you can see that having this video go a little bit viral, semi-minorly viral, I don't know. I'm a small creator. 15,000 is a lot for me. So having that go a little bit viral really boosted my sales. So the funny thing about this viral video, and I'll show it to you here in just a second, is, and maybe I might have to take the sound out, but it's essentially just me looking at the camera going shit, 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 is that this TikTok always performs fairly well for me. And I've filmed it like in different settings, in different outfits, with pretty much just the same sound and text on screen, and sometimes the same hashtags. And this one pretty much always does well. It's just a crowd favorite. I really don't know what to say about it, but here's the TikTok. So yeah, that was the one that got me that big bump in sales. I think it kind of shows the importance of noticing what does well, looking at your analytics, looking at those saves, and looking at and comparing it to your sales data, because then you can see almost a direct correlation to what is actually working for sales versus what is just working on social media. Because sometimes they don't really equate, but you want to make sure that you're doing the things that move the needle to make sales. And then another viral TikTok I had was that video about this Hades and Persephone romance that I'm writing, or retelling that I'm writing. And even though this book is not done, because I didn't have anywhere to point them, for this book specifically, I had to say subscribe to my email newsletter because I want to let you know when it comes out. And looking at the last month of data on my MailChimp, I actually have 31 new subscribers in the last month, which would be like since I posted that video. So it definitely did something, because normally I'll get like a trickle of 1 or 2 people every week. But since I posted that video, I got 31. So I think that's a pretty good turnaround kind of rate. The video got a lot of saves, so I'm hoping that people like come back to it, or at least I kind of know what to do, what worked for that to get at least some attention on it. But having that video blow up too, it was just like gave me some motivation to really like hunker down and keep writing it, because I was only at like 30,000 words. I was like a couple weeks ago, and I think I'm at like 40,000 now. So I've been chipping away at it pretty good. So I would say that those two things kind of moved the needle and got some eyes, at least on my books, on my page, moved the needle in my sales. And that's kind of the insights that I've got for you. It's not a whole lot, but really hunker down on what works and try to repeat it if you can. But before you go, I do have a question. If you're an indie author, so like I said, I publish through Kindle Unlimited and KDP, but I'm thinking for this Hades and Persephone romance, thinking about distributing it wide, so it would go through like Draft to Digital, so that way everybody could get it. It could be like on Apple Books, on Kobo, on Kindle, on Libby, on like all these different platforms. Thinking about putting it out wide, seeing what the response is for like a few months, and then if it's not where I want it, then put it into Kindle Unlimited, because you can do that. And you can also take books out of Kindle Unlimited and do the opposite. But I'm wondering if any of you have done that, if you have experience or any tips or tricks or advice for publishing a book wide and getting eyes on it, getting readers. I mean, I feel like it'd be kind of the same process, but also people love Kindle Unlimited, and people who use Kindle Unlimited are very avid like Kindle Unlimited readers. But I also do want to make my work more accessible. And since this Hades and Persephone retelling is more of a standalone, I think that's what I'm leaning towards, is at least doing wide for a few months and seeing how it goes. But let me know in the comments if you have anything to say regarding that. If you have any experience, I would love to hear it. The author community got to stick together, gotta help each other out. Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay. That is all I've got for you today with my November income update. I will do a December income update early in the new year, and then maybe a little bit later than that, a couple weeks into the new year, I plan on doing the full 2024 breakdown. So if you like these author income videos, check out the playlist wherever it is. And B, hit subscribe if you haven't already, and the notification bell or something, or like. Hit me a like. I don't know. Hit me a like is quite a phrase I didn't think I would say. Leave a like. I always feel weird about doing a thumbs up because I always feel insecure about my thumbs. Anyways, okay, bye.